So Eclipse week, Eclipse in Virgo week, and we've got to feel into the Virgo symbolism. It's a prime directive, it's imperative that we explore what the archetype of Virgo is, because we're going to need to grapple with this greatly, just like Saturn and Pisces. It's been a repeated theme. The new foundations of the dreamscape and the surrealism, and Saturn trying to make tangible what is inarticulable. And that's been a consistent theme because you've had pings to Saturn and Pisces, transits through Saturn and Pisces, now an eclipse cycle running through Pisces. And so Pisces becomes primary. It's a primary source or node of archetypal or symbolic, download that the astrological movements can give us. Now that we kick off just in a few days here, I'm recording this on the 10th, so the first eclipse in Virgo will be 5 days from now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 days, 5-ish days from now, depending on your time zone. What is Virgo? What is it? And that's what I want to speak to or think about a little bit here today. Remember, these Virgo eclipses will run for just under 2 years. There's 4 of them total, 3 lunar eclipses and then a solar eclipse. The solar eclipse is later this year in September, and then you'll have a lunar eclipse, 2026 late winter, 2027 late winter, and then of course this one, late winter 2025. So we're going to be grappling with this for a while. I mean, a 2-year cycle is nothing to shake a stick at. It's going to be around as a major point of contemplation for our astrological symbol set, for our charts and our lives and the unfoldment of our lives. Just keep that in mind. It's Virgo time. Time to contemplate Virgo almost continually as we go out. And so this wall behind me, you can see it right behind me here, is actually a piece of the Berlin Wall which was gifted to Albania. I'm not sure exactly the year of the gift, but that's from the Berlin Wall. It fell in 1989, right? What was happening in 1999? Jupiter was in Cancer, Saturn was in Capricorn, and Neptune was also in Capricorn with Saturn. And so we had this moment in 1989, a cardinal activation, of great cardinal activation. And that's one of the main themes here, of that we will get come summer, Saturn back in a cardinal sign in Aries, right? 25 May, we'll get Jupiter in Cancer again, like it was during the fall of the Berlin Wall and during 9/11. And then we'll get Neptune also in Aries on 30 March at the end of this month. And so we're in a major Barbeau outer planet cardinal activation. 3 of those 5 planets are going to be in cardinal signs here very soon. And what it means for the collective energy is great initiations, great time of change, initiating whole new narratives and structures in the collective reality, whole new collective mind states. And this is something I've been thinking about with Neptune and Aries. And so you got to be just on the lookout for that very much here in 2025. What does that have to do with the Virgo eclipse cycle running through this whole time? And this is one of the kind of hidden features, I think, of the sign of Virgo and its powers during a time like this, is that Virgo is about the particularity. It's about really focusing on what's around you, the earth around you, literally the next step in front of you. Virgo says, hey, study that. Study the conditions or the steps that may be relevant for you day to day. It's really a sign of one day at a time is all we got, right? That John Lennon song, one day at a time is all we got. Look, you can see there's tourists behind me. They're here to look at that Berlin Wall, and they're here to look at these right behind them. I don't have it here, but that's a bunker, they were built here commonly in Albania during the communist years. This is the thing about Virgo, and I'm going to break it down some more, but one big thing I would say is that the fate, the divine intervention of how we can day to day maneuver during times of great social upheaval, during times of great change in the collective reality, where we might not even know one day to the next what is stable, what structures or institutions are stable. We might not have a grasp of things if they start moving really fast here in 2025 and 2026 with global crises of all kinds and institutional collapse or economic turmoil. I mean, all of this is in play for great societal and social change. And the genius of Virgo, and this is what the South Lunar Node may be indicating to us while it traverses there and while we have eclipses there, is that we get to pay attention only to short in time facts of our world. It basically asks us to look only to that next step as a way to grapple with and process and really thrive as much as we can during periods of great global upheaval. Study the next move. That's all we have to do with Virgo. That's our only assignment, is get good and analyze what that next best step may be. It's like chess, it's one move at a time, right? Now you try to think ahead, and that can be some of the Virgoing as well, where you can kind of analyze a few steps ahead as best as you can. But there's only so many contingencies you can loop into your decision-making process. Most of the time it's more localized, day to day, as you're figuring out how to maneuver and how to function. So that's just the message here this week I wanted to share, is that forget about even the rest of this Mercury and Venus retrograde. Just focus on this week. Get through the week. Drink your water. Prepare your healthy meals. Whatever you're doing. Virgo is a bodily sign as much as anything, ruled by the moon by night triplicity. It's Venusian, as it's ruled by Venus by day triplicity. So it's like, focus on the comforts of your physical body day to day as the strategy for functionality and cope, really, at coping with this time of great upheaval. Real simple, what is Virgo? Earth sign. That means it's about our material world around us. It's a mutable sign, which means it's about the changeability of the material world. And it's ruled by Mercury by domicile and exaltation, which means we're analyzing the changes in the material world. Just base layer stuff here, but it's very potent, that base layer. It actually contains everything when you contemplate these very simple aspects of a zodiac sign, these very simple connections that it evokes. You unlock the whole of the power of the symbol set. So we're analyzing the changeability of the material using Mercury. Venus as the day triplicity lord, moon as the night triplicity lord. Venus implies there's a comfort question and a pleasure question. Venus is known to be fallen in Virgo, though it has dignity by triplicity. There's an Egyptian term that's pretty big. There's a decan there that's pretty big. So Venus kind of has some hidden dignity there and some of those degrees. And in terms of the whole sign rulership, by day, it's a ruler. So, we know it's not only like a throttled Venus, though it can be hard to sometimes have pleasure if there's over analytics and you're trying to map it and note it and record it. It's hard to enjoy the experience of pleasure. That's where that tension comes in with Venus and Virgo. But there's certain aspects of beauty and adornment that are very Virgoan, where you unleash Venus more fully than it can in other signs, like some of the Instagram makeup tutorials. Have you seen those where it's like very complicated makeup that's highly detailed? I mean, that's all the Venus in Virgo powers being shown there in a video. But for our purposes, just thinking about, we're trying to map the changing landscape. We're trying to deal with pleasure and comfort, and we're trying to analyze that a little bit, get into the details of it. The moon, of course, evokes safety, all kinds of layers of safety and comfort in a more necessary sense of, am I physically able to nourish and nurture myself? Do I have the food and the rest and the sleep and a home? So it's very nuts and bolts layers of comfort, the moon over Virgo. So when you combine it all together, and this is my core delineation and my core message, this week, lunar eclipse in Virgo, Mercury stationing retrograde, if you're kind of roughed up a little bit this week, focus on just that next thing. If you're mapping your day, remember, Mercury moves very fast through the zodiac, the moon moves very fast through the zodiac, Venus moves fast through the zodiac. Those three planets are the fastest planets in terms of the Chaldean order. And in terms of, I think, the technical definitions, if you're measuring them, you have then Virgo is a sign that's not about longevity. It's not about a long-term plan. It's about literally the stuff right in front of us. And that's my message here. Just one day at a time, one moment at a time, one minute at a time if you need to get through what could be a challenging week, but what could be a challenging 2 years. We all need to, I think, think about just living day to day, week to week to get through these changes. Everybody's talking about it. We're all talking about it because we're all waiting for it. You know, this cardinal initiation in the summer, Jupiter, Neptune, Saturn, and I already talked about that earlier in the video at the Berlin Wall. But then Uranus and Gemini, right? There's this real shakeup of our reality that isn't here yet. And I think it could be of the nature where we're going to be required to get into that day-to-day, moment-to-moment way of life to thrive. Because if there's unknowns, that's all you can do. You can just focus on, all right, am I thirsty right now? I am. I'm going to go get a sparkling water. Drinking the sparkling water, trying to stay hydrated. But you see, this is exactly the kind of Virgo thing. It's just that next action I can take to satiate a little bit of my lunar needs and a little bit of my Venusian needs. And, you know, Virgo, I know that I like to drink this stuff because it has some minerals in it. I'm trying to make sure that I'm mineralized with magnesium and these other minerals. So this is just an example of how I can kind of focus on just one next step and just kind of get into some of the care and nourishment of a kind of next right action model. All right, everyone. Well, listen, I want you to have a great eclipse. I hope it's not too intense for you or not too challenged. All right. And I just send you the best, and I'll be here with more videos very, very soon. Check me out on Patreon, SJAnderson144 there. I'm releasing more videos there. I've got a live stream I do once a month there that's more of a teaching practicum. I've got a weekly video I make that's quite analytical with the detailed movements of changes and aspects in the moon and its aspects in the planets. And so you can check me out over there. You can like and subscribe here if you like these videos, if you want to see more. That's always much appreciated. And yeah, take care of yourself, okay? Peace out. Bye-bye.